Are you ready for some news?
It's all right, man. You know what?
That's right. The brain is the third thing to go. But you remember that. Here we go. The good news. The bad news. And the other shit. All right. Today, the good news, the bad news, the other shit has to focus, I think, on the evolving trauma that is the Trump presidency. Okay, because, it's been crazy stuff. And we've made predictions. We've gone out on a limb, and I'll reiterate some of that today. But it's amazing how fast the developments are. People ask me, Mario, did you predict Sean Spicer? I said, I had no idea. I had no idea that Sean... I'm as totally in shock. I'm still in shock from Donald Jr.'s very stupid confessions. And I'm still back at the ranch. So I'm amazed like everybody else about the level of incompetence. But that's part of the problem. And so that's part of the focus. So the question for me today, Vic, is because a bunch of people have been coming up to me and say, Mario, how did you come up with your predictions?
Common sense.
That's what I kind of thought of. And a lot of people, Mario, how did you come up? Because remember, I predicted on May 22nd, and it's funny because Vic would tell you, I came to Vic and said, we got to at least go. We were on hiatus at the time. I said, I got to go. I've been making postings, but I've got to go and do a show related to the prediction. So in 5/22 of this year, we did a show where I said my predictions.
Yep.
And now compare that to the drama that's unfolding. And let me sort of summarize for you again my predictions. I predicted one, an orgy of evidence, where there would be evidence so sloppily available. That's why I called it an orgy of evidence going back to way before the campaign. I predicted that. I also predicted that 12 to 18 of the staff would be indicted, the president would be impeached, and that Jared Kushner would do jail time. That's what I predicted. And I said it would all jump off within 120 days, which sounded outrageous. How does my timetable look now? The president is inquiring about pardons. So here's the thing. If you could assume a bunch of different things. But if the president fights, this will be unprecedented. And it looks like the president is gearing himself up to fight. Not like Nixon did, resign. So it's going to be a big deal. And I predicted that it would be the biggest, most important day in American history, and maybe since World War II.
Mm-hmm. And how many people will get off free?
Well, that will be an interesting question.
Well, hey, I'm just saying.
Donald Jr. is not part of the cabinet.
Right.
So there's a higher threshold, I think, for treason. But there's still an argument. There's an argument that the whole family. So how did I get my predictions? This is the part that I really don't understand. I gave up, like Victor said, was it common sense? I was thinking, I had one night way back, earlier before, because I did the show on 5/22, so before that sometime, I don't know, weeks probably. I just took I do exercises to write. Like, I would do exercises like imagine I'm somebody in a situation and then try to write from that situation. I use it as a creative tool to write. So I often imagine myself as people in moments of crisis. So I simply sat there having a smoke, and I imagined myself as the president if he was guilty of all of it. Because he looked guilty. I said, let's assume he's guilty for a minute. Now, once you assume he's guilty, everything makes sense. Absolutely everything. It only doesn't make sense if you assume innocence, which I call the ultimate privilege. That I know That you know how much evidence they usually need to convince somebody black? Okay. So I see. I have to weigh it against my own experiences as a black man. That how little evidence it takes to send somebody black to jail, and how much they get to do, and get a presumption of innocence. And with the same people that are really the same people that want to throw black people in jail are the same ones who claim he's innocent till prove it. That's the ultimate privilege because we don't get it like that. Not most of you white folks don't get it like that either. You have to be white folks of means, but some of them get it like that. I'm just saying. That's all I did, and I imagined everything. And as I imagined and assumed he was guilty because there was so much evidence, and he was so sloppy, it also had to do the way I look at patterns. Because when I was in a relationship, someone said this to me once about me, about Mario, that, you have certain patterns. And on the day that your patterns change, I'll be inquiring as to why they have changed. Because, since he was basically telling me every Friday night, you may go out with your friends, but you end up over here. Now, on the Friday that you don't, you're changing the pattern. And then we may have to talk. So I'm saying people have patterns. So the president has patterns, and they're sloppy patterns.
Yep.
And I look at them and see them just because I had those habit sets. And I predict that those patterns would mean that you're going to have evidence everywhere because he doesn't care. He's above all that. So you're going to have stuff that's just there because he's sloppy. And some of it's not even because he's sloppy, because he doesn't give a shit. He thinks he's so tough that you could know. He's shaking his weenie in your face. That's
what?
His whole thing. He has to.
Okay.
Little weenie.
All right, man.
Just like his hands.
All right.
I don't know if you don't that should. Anyway, so there's the president. And the next thing he's doing now, Vic, is he's seeking information on the power to pardon. And I told you this could all come up as an issue because the next president is going to be Ryan. Paul Ryan.
You sure about that?
Speaker of the House, because Pence is going to go down. That was one of my predictions, that Pence is going to go down.
Right.
And the next line, next in the chain by their own setup through the constant whatever rule,
right,
is the Speaker of the House. And he'll be, and I've already predicted, Ryan will be the next president, and he'll have a totally ineffective campaign, the same as they have right now. Even though they have the House, the Senate, that goes to prove to you that none of that shit means anything. In my age, I've seen times when people had the majority and they never changed a goddamn thing. Not one thing. They never did shit you wanted, okay? All right? That's the real truth, okay? That's the truth. They never did shit you wanted. That's the way it's always been. Therein goes with my issue with the two parties that you have. Because they still two parts of the same bird to me. Okay? That's what I'm saying. So, anyway. The president has asked about the powers to pardon. He's looking at, and that's a drama to be played out. Remember, I think the whole family is going to be somewhat indicted. I said, but if you go by, I have till September 22nd. I predicted it would jump off within 120 days. So we still have yet to see. You know what's so funny? Isn't it amazing how much Mueller comes up in the conversation and you haven't heard one peep from him?
Oh no, he doesn't do the
nothing.
See,
not one.
He's never had to do what. Let me go and satisfy the media to pass it along to the public. Okay, where does the wife and the daughter stand in this? Totally unscathed.
Melania? Oh yeah, she gets to have her money and go back without him. Happy camper. She and Barron can move back to New York and have some cash. He'll be out of the way because he'll be defending himself from going to jail for treason. No, so the daughter could be charged. She could be indicted. It's because the family, what it's looking like, the part I said that I didn't know before, but I knew Trump had dirty finances. Now that becomes clearer. Yeah. They may have been laundering money for the Russians for some time and have been under scrutiny for that. And they're tying all of that in. I don't think the investigation into Trump's finances I think that was already going underway because of the other Russian stuff. But then it even got a little sidetracked because of the presidency.
Right.
Now you're going to see that.
Let me ask you something. Real estate magnates, multi-billionaires, oligarchs, all of them, real estate acquisition, deal making, without the presidency in question. It's normal, right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you sit back and go like,
normal and dirty.
Wait, and let me just say, all of a sudden you says, let me get in here and see what I can do. I'm not taking it serious. And all of a sudden, Mario, you're one of those oligarchs. you got money. You're a billionaire. And all of a sudden they elect you president. Do you say I refuse, or do you go, oh shoot, if they elected me president, I can't clean up that mess behind me. Do you roll with it or what?
No, I don't roll with it. And same thing. First of all, they wouldn't let me be president.
Just see, there you go.
I can't even imagine these circumstances under which they would. But that's because even though the problem is ultimately democracies are going to be corrupted by money-making powers unless you do a lot to try to prevent it, and it's going to be very difficult. Whatever democratic system you come up with, the money people are going to figure out a way to corrupt it from within, because that's the nature of it. So unfortunately, the best system of government is a benevolent, wise king.
Right.
And that can't last. Have a wise king who loves everybody and rules, then he's going to die. Here comes the other, Like I'm saying, unfortunately, I don't have an answer for that, because no matter what system I come up with, I can't imagine a system where the regular forces to be that exist out there controlling finance don't corrupt it.
Right.
Okay, so I don't know. That's part of the thing.
Okay.
One of the questions.
Okay.
So that's the thing. That's where we stand this week. We're going to see Jared Kushner is going before, he has this morning gone before a subcommittee to testify. It's not under oath, and it's a closed hearing. So what the hell good is it? Even though from what I understand, even when you testify even if it's not under oath specifically, it's illegal to lie.
Okay.
Okay, it's covered by rules like that. So we'll see. It's interesting because everyone said no lawyer would allow their client to do this. So he had to go in there with an expressed intent. Well, not expressed, but expressly having an intent of, presenting an impression that's not real. He's going to go in there, basically lie.
Right.
But now you're doing it on some kind of a record. So we'll see. Yeah, I predict he's going to jail.
Okay. All right. And sir, what, for 30 days?
No. We'll be a country club. They have good food at those.
Okay.
Asparagus, steaks. Hey. Everybody, that's been the good news, the bad news, and the other shit. No other shit today. That's the good news. That's how I went to it on Facebook. Yeah.